A mother completely ignored a no parking sign, looked me dead in the eye and said, "Can't you just unload around me?" So we did exactly that. And less than 30 minutes later, she was being handcuffed by the police, right in front of her own kid. But the way everything spiraled out of control was way worse than you'd expect. I work as a foreman in construction, and I've dealt with all kinds of difficult people. Annoying clients, late suppliers, neighbors complaining about noise. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for this woman. This particular job was already a nightmare. The house was being built at the top of a hill, no vehicle access at all. Everything, and I mean everything, had to be carried up by hand along a narrow footpath. Lumber, tools, materials. It was like building an entire house the hard way, every single day. So when I say those 2 parking spots at the bottom mattered, I'm not exaggerating. They were the only thing keeping that job running. We had official no parking signs approved by the city. Everything was legit. But there was one problem: an elementary school nearby. Every single day, especially during pickup times, parents would ignore the signs like they didn't apply to them. Most of the time, if I asked nicely, they'd move. Most of the time. That day, I get a call from a delivery driver. He's bringing in all the lumber for the roof. Big, heavy stuff. The kind of load that takes over an hour just to unload, not even counting carrying it up the hill. He tells me, "I'll be there in 2 minutes." So I head down to the street to make sure the spots are clear. And of course, there's a car parked there. A woman sitting inside, engine running, scrolling on her phone like nothing's wrong. I walk up, calm and polite, like always. "Hey, sorry to bother you, but this is a no parking zone. We've got a delivery arriving right now. Could you move your car real quick?" She doesn't even hesitate, rolls her eyes and goes, "I'll just be a few minutes. Your truck isn't even here yet. Relax." Right on cue, the truck turns the corner. I point at it, still trying to keep things friendly. "Well, it is now." She looks, scoffs, and rolls her window up in my face. At that point, I knew this wasn't going to be a normal conversation. I try one more time. Knock on the window. She cracks it open halfway and snaps. "What?" Now I'm more direct. I tell her she's parked illegally, it's a tow-away zone, and we need the space immediately. And that's when she says the one line that changed everything. "Can't you guys just unload around me?" Jesus, it's not that hard. I pause for a second, smile, and say, "Sure." Then I walk away. Because at that exact moment, I had a better idea. I go to the truck driver, explain the situation quickly, and tell him to park as close to her car as possible. There's already another car parked in front, and behind her, right at the edge, we've got a porta potty. Within seconds, we turned those 2 parking spots into a perfect little trap. The truck pulls in, practically hugging her driver's side door. Car in front, porta potty behind. No space, no exit, no way out. The driver looks at me and starts grinning. He knew exactly what we were doing. And we just start unloading like everything is completely normal. While that's happening, I call parking enforcement. Not even to get her in trouble. I just wanted to make sure we wouldn't get fined for blocking part of the street. They tell me an officer can be there in about 30 minutes. Perfect. A few minutes later, her kid shows up. And that's when things really start escalating. She tries to open her driver's door, and it won't budge. The truck is right there. She tries again. Nothing. Looks at the truck. Looks at us. And you can literally see it hit her. She's stuck. With no other option, she climbs across the inside of her car and awkwardly gets out through the passenger side, already visibly irritated. She loads her kid into the back seat, gets back in, and just sits there for a moment, thinking, trying to figure out a way out. There isn't one. That's when she completely loses it. She storms over to us and starts yelling, "I'm in a hurry. You need to move that truck right now." Before I can say anything, the driver steps in, calm as ever. "Ma'am, the load is unstrapped. Company policy says I can't move the truck with unsecured cargo." That pushes her over the edge. She starts yelling, swearing, threatening to report us. And right then, parking enforcement arrives. The officer pulls up behind the truck and starts getting out. But the woman hasn't noticed yet. So I look at her, smile, and say, "Can't you just pull out around it? It's not that hard." She freezes. It hits her, and she completely snaps. She storms back to her car, climbs in through the passenger side, slams the door, and without thinking, throws it into reverse. Slams straight into the porta-potty. Knocks the whole thing over. Then immediately throws it into drive. Tries to jump the curb to escape. And gets stuck. Half the car on the sidewalk, half in the street, wheels spinning, her screaming inside. The officer saw everything. She walks up calmly, tells her to get out of the vehicle. And I'll never forget her face in that moment. All that anger, instantly gone, replaced with pure shock. She steps out, gets cuffed, right there, in front of her kid. And it only gets worse from there. Turns out her license was suspended. She gets charged with reckless driving, property damage for the porta-potty, and child endangerment. Her car gets towed. Her kid gets picked up by their grandma. And she gets taken straight to a holding cell. All of that because she didn't want to move her car for a few minutes. But something tells me, next time, she'll think twice before saying, "Just do it around me."